Also, mine came with this really weird one. Yeah, I don't know why that's on there, but yeah. So this is where you can get new ringtones, but of course this service no longer works. I mean, why would it? Next up, we have our screensavers, which I don't have any. And other applications. I bet they're Java-based. I'm sure you can get those somewhere. Alright, so pictures, this is where things get interesting. Now, as I stated before, this phone does not have a camera, and you need to use the Sprint Vision, the Sprint PCS Vision camera, which only works with this and the A500, I think. And that's how you can take pictures and upload them to your photo library, which I think is online. Not sure. Whoops. Alright, so if we try to load up the camera application, it'll do its little animation, and then it'll tell us to connect the camera, which I don't have. Let's go back to the Photos menu. Now if we go ahead and click on the album, it'll take another half an hour to load. I honestly don't know why it takes so long. Now I haven't really set this up, so you have to create like a picture password and picture inbox, and it's complicated. I don't know how it works. So yeah, moving past the photos. So yes, you can take pictures, but why would you? Voicemail doesn't really work because I think you need a subscription or something. I don't know. Voice dialing. Now this is an interesting one because with voice dialing, it is kind of primitive, and it recognizes, like, okay, if I'm in the English language, right, and I make an entry for the word home, if I switch it into Spanish, the phone, it'll turn home into casa. So it's interesting how it changes all the different tags. So make sure if you do this, look through all of your things here. So I have a few of them set, and you can erase them all. Set active. Set active is basically when you flip open the phone, it'll ask you who'd you like to call, and you say, oh, I want to call John Cena, for example. I don't know his number, so don't ask. Or only when you want to talk. So you can set that. In the planner, you have today. I have no event scheduled. You have your scheduler, which is basically a calendar, I suppose, with the ability to add events. Your task list, it's like a to-do list sort of thing. Memo pad, this is where you can write down memos. In case you're wondering, no, you cannot access hyperlinks through the memos. I guess you can only do that through text, which is sad. Alarm, which pretty much any phone has, and you can set on, off, time, what ringer you want, and the interval. You have up to 3 alarms. Here's the calculator, pretty basic, like 3 plus 9 is 12. So pretty simple. World time allows you to go through different time zones and see what time it is and what date it is even. Let's have a look here. So, since Romania shares the same time zone as Greece, it is 1:29 a.m. Interesting. And we have a countdown. What? Oh, so basically, like, I could set a countdown for Christmas, which I'll probably do that later. That's all we have in the planner. Now we have our settings app. Now we can change display settings, such as the menu style, nature, or camera. Let me show you the camera setting. It's pretty interesting. So, quite different. If you really wanted to show off, you could do that. Go back here and Set it back to nature for now. You can change the wallpaper from aquarium to a bunch of different clocks. You can set it to the launch pad, which is your button here. I don't know why they call that a launch pad. And you can customize the buttons if you want. However, I was too lazy to. You can set it to world time, and that's about it. You could also download images and wallpapers, but I don't have any, so. Notice how there's a space between wall and paper. That's interesting. The greeting, which is, I believe, this text over here. I set it to my Instagram username, and it can also set it to your PCS username, which will be your phone number. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Backlighting, basically, you can set the LCD for the backlight to remain on for the entire time the flip is open. 30 seconds, 8 seconds are always off. Keypad, same options here. Contrast is basically how you change how you change brightness. And yeah. Now in sounds, we can change the ringer volume, the ringer type. Now this is where we can view our ringers. Let me put the volume up. Yeah, so that's pretty self-explanatory. Now let's go into the normal rings. It's obvious that these are probably MIDIs instead of like actual like music files, honestly. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so the ringtones are pretty primitive. Some of them I think are MIDI files because they sound a lot like what an old school computer would sound like, honestly. And you can set with call ID and without. Messages, same stuff. If it doesn't have like specific rings for notifications. Alrighty. Alerts. Minute beep. Service, like when it connects to the network, or if it loses connection to the network, it'll make a beep. Connect, which is a call beep, like once you dial, it'll beep, telling you that it connected to the network. I have that set on my Galaxy S4, actually. And a disconnect beep. Roam ringer. And that's the ringtone that you'll hear if you're roaming. And the key beep. This is actually a very unstable value because you could have the key beep go up to level 8, and in certain situations the phone will ignore that, and it'll set it back down to like a level 3 or something. Sometimes you have to restart the phone in order to bring your key beep back to normal. And there are many things wrong with the software on this phone. I feel as if Samsung did a better job on the hardware than they did the software, just to be completely honest. If they were to spend some more time just perfecting all the kinks and all the bugs, and I feel like this phone could have been much better. And speaking of the software itself, there are a lot of aspects of the software that have stayed true to some of their newer phones, like the SPH-N400 has a very similar interface, and that phone came out about 5 years later. So I mean, if it ain't broke, why fix it, right? So back in Settings app, we have Internet, which allows you to sign out of your account. A password, which completely screwed everything up for me, honestly. NetGuard, I don't know what that is. And you can edit the home URL, and since I have the Sprint version, it will automatically take you to vision.sprintpcs.com, which I don't think that's up anymore for this phone. I mean, when I tried it a few days ago, it would not load. It would just give me a memory overflow, and I'd have to load Google instead. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe they took down the WAP version of their website. Next we have some roaming settings. They have a call guard. Extra step. Okay. Location, which I turned off. I don't really need location for this. I mean, if you want to read that, you can pause it really quick. Messaging. This is for notifications. Pop-up messages, yes. It will not close your applications, though. Security. We'll put in the lock code here. So the phone's currently unlocked. You can change lock code, your special numbers, erase the phone book, erase contents, reset phone, and reset camera. You have airplane mode. Others, such as the launch pad, you can change the layout. You have your restrictions, which basically outgoing calls, yes or no, allow all phone book only or special numbers only. Call answer, you can set it to either when you open the flip, when you press the talk key, or when you press any key. Auto answer, no. Please no. Car kit headset, I do have a headset, so I guess if you had a headset it would either do an auto answer, or you could use the button on the headset to respond to calls. And language, there are only 2 languages. And then finally, phone info, which basically gives you like the phone number and software info. Okay, so I skipped past all the personal info. So you can see, I think that's software, ES-N400 WD12, and hardware N400-09, which may be like 9th revision or something. And then it has the different icon legends. So that's the settings app. And then key guard, which basically, if you press the keys, it will not disable, it will not like dial or anything. And you just press back to disable it. Or you can do that, and every time you close it, it'll automatically enable key guard. But speaking of key guard, there is a fatal flaw with the hardware of this phone. And this something can be quite a nuisance. Oftentimes, I bring this phone with me to school as a backup in case my Galaxy S4 fails on me, as it usually does. So what I do is I turn it off and I keep it in my backpack. And then I oftentimes come home, it's on and has low battery. Because, watch this. Because the cover is either too flimsy, or because the button is just too raised, even when the flip is closed, the phone can still be activated. Now, it doesn't really want to, but sometimes it does turn on, and that can be a problem, because oftentimes I come home, and it has a low battery, and I have to charge it again. So that's quite a big flaw, honestly. So yeah, that's pretty much the only other hardware problem. I mean, pretty much the only problem is that the hinge kind of doesn't feel too sturdy. Maybe that's just on my unit because it's old, but overall, the build quality could be better, but it's not that bad. Okay, so now I'm just going to demonstrate really quickly the voice dialing. Just go ahead and... Alright, so to activate voice dialing, you just have to press and hold the talk key. And then you would say the name of the person you wanted to call. Oh. No, I would not like to repeat the name. So, and then it would ask you, oh, do you mean this person? You'd say yes or no, and it would dial the number. Also, if you're in if the phone's set to Spanish, it also has Spanish dialogue, because there is actually a voice coming through the earpiece. However, you cannot, even if you're in speakerphone mode, it will not say it through the speakerphone. So it is somewhat limited. Accuracy, it's not too bad. And you do have to repeat the name several times sometimes because it doesn't understand some things. But again, it's primitive technology. It's 2002. Samsung really went above and beyond on trying to make a very advanced smartphone, in a sense. But let's end with a few closing statements. Messaging is a huge problem for me. That's pretty much the only main complaint I have with this phone. I mean, I can deal with the crashes, the quirks, because, I mean, no phone is perfect. But just the fact that it doesn't have outgoing SMS, that really pissed me off. Yeah, reception is not very good. I mean, it's okay outside, but indoors, it really suffers. Especially in my basement, it loses connection a lot. The 3G is pretty good. It's fast, I think. But then again, I can't tell because the browser is so outdated. Battery life, it's okay. Of course, this is the original battery, so I can imagine that the performance has faltered a bit throughout the years, but it's not that bad. Software is not too good. I really wish Samsung spent more time on that. But other than that, I mean, this wasn't really a phone meant for a person looking for strictly a telecommunications device. This was for someone who wanted a futuristic smartphone with abilities that no other phone had. And in that regard, I think Samsung did an okay job. Again, they just did it too early. They didn't have the right technology. I mean, it's not like it's like really thick. I mean, it's a bit thick for a phone, but the stupid technology of the time really limited this phone's potential. And I honestly don't know what the heck they were thinking when they made this, because, I mean, all the weird bye, tilde, and all those weird things, I don't really know why they would put that in a professional product. If it was marketed as a kid's